Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Live channel, and in today's video, as promised, I'm going to be going through the Volvo safety features that you perhaps may not know are there or that you take for granted. Just had to grab a hold of a wild dog there and was about to run into the road. So yeah, the features that perhaps you didn't know, and obviously this is inspired after my recent video, or my last video, talking about sort of safety and everything like that. So let's get straight into it. Now, there's a feature that not many people know about on modern cars, and that's to do with the ABS and braking. Now, an incident that I talked about in the last video, I had to do an emergency brake to avoid a head-on collision with someone who's overtaking. Now, modern cars have the ability to essentially preempt emergency situations, so they can sense that as soon as you lift off the accelerator and suddenly jab the brake, they instantly give you full brakes immediately, despite how hard you're pushing the pedal. What that does is basically gives you a few extra milliseconds to avoid hitting the car, basically. It helps you stop quicker, and it really does enable you to stop far more quickly than you perhaps would on your own. Now, the only reason I found this out was because, like I said, it happened when I did it. So I did a bit of research. It was actually a feature that was pioneered by the Mercedes A-Class in the late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, it's a useful little one that a lot of us would take for granted. Perhaps a lot of people wouldn't notice. However, yeah, it just the car braked very suddenly, despite the fact I hadn't really jammed on the brakes that hard. So it's a good feature that sort of reduces stopping distances. Now, another thing that happened was with the seat belts, and I'll get into this. I'll go and sort of open the door and show you guys. I'm sure you've all seen seat belts before, but it'll help me explain it. So obviously you've got seat belts in every car. They're legally mandated for a car to be homologated here in the UK. However, there are lots of features in seat belts that a lot of people don't understand. Now, first of all is the one perhaps we've seen most, which is where if you really yank it, it will lock like that. But also in the Volvo, when you brake really heavily or perhaps accelerate really fast, the seatbelt will automatically tighten to pull you in. That's to keep you in the seats, and it also does it if it detects that the car's leaning or turning, perhaps in the event of a rollover, but you can trigger it sort of through aggressive driving. Now, again, it's a safety feature that helps you stay in the seat and keeps you alive in the event of an accident. It's essentially the seatbelt is ready for the accident before you perhaps are in the accident. So it's a really, really nice, handy feature. And it's why Volvo made such a big deal about the recall down here. Now, as you can see, my seatbelt is absolutely fine. I've had the recall done and everything, and it's all good. But yeah, definitely a reason, if you haven't had it done already, to get that recall done. Now, next I'll talk about the SIPS system. This was pioneered by Volvo back in I think it was the early 90s, and you'll see it down here. And it's the side impact protection system. And essentially what it is it's strengthening throughout the sill, the pillars, and around the frame in the event of a side impact. You'll notice that this is all absolutely solid, and that's what gives the door shutting such a satisfying sound, because it is shutting into a very, very solid frame. And yeah, it's just another feature that a lot of people don't realise. It's also really good in the event of a rollover. Again, these are absolutely solid, and you can pretty much roll these cars back onto their wheels and keep driving, because they will not deform at all, which is awesome. And it's all done the way that they use the curves like that as well, helps that. So yeah, that's the SIPS system. There are more to it. There's the airbags that I haven't mentioned. Better mention those. Those are in the sides of the seats here, and they provide hip and sort of torso support, protection from a side impact, and they only deploy in the event of a side impact, just like the sort of general SIPS systems. And that works in conjunction with the curtain airbags, which you can find on the inside here. Now, again, they'll only be used in a side impact or in a rollover, which is a nice thing to have, especially It stops you smashing your face to bits on the inside of the car. Volvo do sort of think of every sort of possible way you could smash yourself up, and it's something that's become universal within the car industry, but Volvo were the pioneers in a lot of this technology. And actually, it was them that invented the seatbelt in 1959, I think it was, and they sold they gave away the patent for free to all of the other car manufacturers in the interest of safety rather than money. So that sort of gives you the vibe that Volvo works with. Now, there's another feature called WHIPS, which is the Whiplash Injury Protection System. And essentially, it's a system built into the seat. It's why the headrests are like this. They're complete sort of fully supported ones, and it's used in the event of a rear end collision. So if someone hits the back of you, you're more likely than not to suffer whiplash from where your head snaps back. So what Volvo have done is they've engineered a mechanism in the seat that collapses to allow what sort of softens the blow, really. And what it does is it uses the seat to go back into the rear leg room to reduce the speed of the impact or reduce the force going through your body, and in theory reduce your damage to your back and neck and everything like that, and any potential head injuries. That obviously mixed with the standard seat belts, the standard airbags, sort of cosset you in that impact. Now, another cool thing about the seats is the runoff protection. Now, these are accidents that Volvo did a lot of researching, because they found out a lot of people run off the side of the road and suffer spinal injuries because of shock going through their spines up through the seat. So what Volvo have done is designed a bracket on the seat that deforms in the event of that, again just like the whip system, reducing the amount of force going through your body. So yeah, those are just a few little safety features that Volvos have. Like I said, these have been for a long time the safest cars on the road. This S80, I'm confused because there's an S90 over there, and also a Caterham 310R, which is very cool and very rare. Bit brave bringing it out onto this car park. This is my new local car park, by the way. Lovely views, but a lot of mud, hence why the car is so filthy. But yeah, the S80 was the safest car of its kind at the time of release, and it's pretty much as good as modern cars are now. It stands up really well in a lot of modern day crash tests, which is one of the reasons I chose it. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the interior. The only final one is the engine. Now, the engine is designed in such a way that in the event of a front collision, it will be driven down underneath the passenger compartment and will not encroach on the passenger compartment to avoid injuries to your legs and everything like that. So yeah, that is it. A bit of a long rambly video, but yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if I've missed any. Let me know your favourite Volvo safety feature, and if safety was a factor when you bought your Volvo, or if it will be a factor if you're buying a Volvo. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.